ये सारी चीजों में आप दलदल में फंसे जा रहे थे. If I may use
Yes,
that word.
that is the
दलदल. The more
बिल्कुल
you
ये
try
बात सही
to
है
come
आपकी.
out, the more you get.
ये
yourself
आपको
into-
निकलने देते ही नहीं है. एक मरतबा इन्होंने आपका हाथ थाम लिया ना, once they've got a grip of you,
Yeah.
there is no way out of it,
Right.
unless you decide, जैसे कि मैंने फैसला किया था.
Okay.
The only way you get in out of it is by having a criminal convictions, criminal past, by getting involved in trouble with the police continuously. And these people, what they do, they will intend to use you, they will use your name. At this moment, Imtiaz Bhai, my name is blacklisted. I wasn't able to get employed. I am still currently, I don't get employed. If somebody says to me, give me a reference, there is no reference I've got to give. Why? Because every reference that I did have, believe it or not, if you look at my employment history, I'd gone through interviews and got jobs in the banks. I'd gone in through interviews. I was a sales rep. I was a mechanic. I've been a chef. I've been a waiter. I've been an electrician, a plumber. I've done everything in my life, but I've got no qualifications for it. I've got no references to give towards it, purely and simply because of the sociality of these people that were around me.
And the baggage and the background.
The baggage of the background, along with that.
Yeah, and still that affects you
still,
even while we are talking.
Alhamdulillah, now is one of those things that I've managed to overcome by changing my lifestyle.
That's what we are coming at. The last question as far as your past is concerned, ताज भाई के आप ये सब जो एक लत आपको लग गई थी,
yes, the addiction is an addiction.
दलदल में घुसना,
बिल्कुल.
तो उस वक्त आपको अपनी फैमिली का या सोसाइटी का जरा सा भी ख्याल नहीं आया कि भाई इसके असरात मेरी फैमिली के ऊपर, सोसाइटी में जो हमारी एक इमेज है उसके ऊपर पड़ेंगे,
वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन,
हेल्थ के ऊपर पड़ेंगे, या इसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस क्या होंगे, ये ख्यालात नहीं आए?
ओके, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. यू नो व्हेन यू बिकम एन एडिक्ट, जब जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं इसकी लत लग जाती है, जब, ठीक है, देयर आर वेरियस पीपल से ओ नो आई एम नॉट एडिक्टेड. पहली बात तो यह है कि वी आर इन डिनायल, वी बिकम अ डिनायल टू आवरसेल्फ, ठीक है. उसमें क्या होता है कि हम बोलते हैं यार मैं इसको कंट्रोल कर रहा हूं, ड्रग मुझे नहीं कर रहा, नशा मुझे कंट्रोल नहीं कर रहा. मुझे एक बात कोई आज डॉक्टर भी बता दे कि कौन सा ऐसा नशा, ये एक सिगरेट है. सिगरेट हम जब से सिगरेट पीते हैं, आई एम अ स्मोकर टिल दिस डे, ठीक है. स्मोकर होने के तहत मैं जब सिगरेट पीता हूं, मैं बोलता हूं यार मैं सिगरेट छोड़ दूंगा, एक सिगरेट के बाद दूसरा, दूसरे के बाद तीसरा, ठीक है. So when I say right, I'm not going to have the next smoke, I am having another smoke. Am I not addicted to that? When I say, people say, oh, weed is common, you can get it prescribed, so the excuse is the doctors will prescribe it for you these days. The doctors prescribe it without its effects of addiction. But is that really true? Nobody knows. Only the doctors know, or the drug that they provided. So no drug is too small and no drug is too big not to have an addiction. Everything has an addiction. If cigarettes can have an addiction, then why can't drugs? So you're coming to your answer to your question. Yes, it did affect majorly in my family life, but I never thought about it at the time. Society, what would think of me? I never thought of it because I was under the influence of drugs that heavily, that the drug would not allow me, my mind, to even think the consequences. There would have been occasions where I've seen people, not physically done it, alhamdulillah, till this day, because I've been able to afford the drugs that I've been having, which I'm not proud of. However, alhamdulillah, I never got to that point where you see people breaking into cars, where you see people breaking into houses, or even, let alone that, I have actually seen with my own physical eyes people breaking into their children's piggy banks, their little money saving boxes. I've seen people selling the equipment in their home whilst their wives and children have been away, just to fulfill that addiction. And there was an occasion on Crescent Road going back about 10 years ago, where a particular person come home. He was so heavily addicted on heroin. He'd come home, said to his mother, "Mom, look, I want money for my drugs. Give me £10." She said, "I haven't got it." He said, "You know the Indians, they wear the Mangal Sutra." He said to her, "Look, give me that Mangalsutra, I'll sell it, I'll get my money for my addiction. She said, over my dead body. She said it in a way that obviously not physically over my dead body, but he was so heavily, dying for the drugs. They actually picked up a hammer. He physically hammered her in the head 14 times, killed her, took off the Mangalsutra, took her down to a jewelry shop, which is around the corner from there, sold it, got the money, rang his drug dealer, had his drug covered in blood, who delivered it to the door. He must have seen it. I'm not saying he hasn't, I don't know. Come on, he must have seen it.
Yeah.
The guy's had his high, then come to his senses, rang the police 2 hours later, saying, I've just killed my mother, come and get me. This is the kind of stage the drugs
And
actually,
the consequences, the price you paid is unimaginable.
I mean, I can't imagine what that kid would be going through for the rest of his life, knowing he's killed his own mother
Yeah.
just to get that high. So, going back to that,
Yeah. Sorry,
when
Taj.
you're under the influence of drugs, sorry, Mumtaz, but I'm going to
Please,
brief.
please.
When you're under the influence of drugs, you don't realize what you're doing, what the society is saying about you, the effects it has on you or your family. You don't think of that. But believe me and you, the impact on your family is far heavier than what you're going through.
Anything else? Yeah.
The suffering that you would have to come out of drugs is nothing compared to what your family is actually going through. Your children, your mother, your father who brought you in this world, your sisters, your brothers, nobody wants to associate with you.
And they suffer in silence.
They suffer in silence because there's nothing. They have to listen to the word. Look, your son's a drug user. Your husband's a drug user. Imagine what your children would feel. I mean, believe me, my hair is sticking up on the back of my neck right now.
Yeah.
Because now I realize it, yeah. But how did my children feel when I was an addict, when I couldn't even face them, when I would even come home 5-6 days at a time? I can only imagine, I can only feel their pain now.
Yeah.
Now that I've
what
actually
they went
stopped.
through and what you made them to.
What I made them go through by being an addict.
Yes.
And that is all because it started from one particular thing when I wanted to become a gangster.
One small wrong decision.
One wrong
and
decision.
Then how
one
many wrong turn you had to take to come to the right turn?
15 years of my life.
Yeah.
15 years of my life of wrong decisions, which I don't remember. Over the 15 years, if I look at my convictions in my criminal record, it's unbelievable.
Right. That's my next question, Taj Bhai. There was a time, correct me if I'm wrong, by looking at your past profile, as our team has done a lot of research and we have to, you'll appreciate it. There was a fear around you, am I right? That in Bolton, in Northwest, when it comes to Taj, there was a fear in the society, there was a fear amongst community members, keep away from him and don't mess about with him. Was it true?
That was true.
That fear
it was true. It was true. I became most wanted.
Wow.
I became most wanted. And it's nothing to be proud of. Yes, when I look back today, I was like, was that really me? The question I ask myself every day, was that really me? And believe it or not, it got to that point where I had so much respect prior to that, all gone. The contacts, the heaviest of the contacts I had, there used to be times where there used to be campaigns for elections prior to me being an addict. There used to be campaigns of elections that used to be run from my mom's house, from my house at the time. I used to have the councillors, the MPs very well connected at the time. And they used to feel proud to be a part of me because I was a businessman. And to be with me because I was known to the society with very good words until I became an addict and I lost every single contact. The only thing I gained was criminal convictions or being wanted. And that's nothing to be proud of.
So, from the most wanted to become the most loved one now, because we know you very well.
Yes,
we know your family. So, just share your story of transformation and building yourself from a bad boy to a good boy.
Okay, you know what people say? getting away from addiction is the hardest thing. Imtiaz bhai, now I can physically, from my experience, I can say that is the biggest lie. Honestly, that is the biggest lie. Doctors say to you, you're an addict for the past 2 years on cannabis. You can't get away. People say, oh bro, I can't leave it. I was an addict of cocaine. Cocaine is a lot heavier than cannabis. I was an addict more than 10 years in my system. The cocaine was. And it was to that level, every time I used to go in the hospital, and they used to blood test me, it used to come back 600-700 times a lot more than what it is, what my body could handle. There were times I was in overdose in hospitals. There were times I ended up in comas because of these drugs and alcohol. But you know what? Quitting is nothing. All you have to do is say to yourself in the head that I'm not going to do it.